QR's got no one to blame except themselves.
Paul Pluta is the whistleblower behind documents which revealed the extent of the driver shortage.
It's the executives at QR who should be ashamed of themselves. They should get out of their Statesman, get out of their 5 Series BMW and take the train.
Since the data was collected, the Queensland rail saga has claimed a Transport Minister and a CEO. Now a new minister says she's determined to fix it.
We know that this is not going to be fixed overnight. It's not going to be fixed in a couple of months.
Max Futcher, 7 News.
The Transport Minister has conceded he found out about South East Queensland's train crisis from social media. The director of his department, who's now in charge of Queensland Rail, also says he wasn't warned of an impending driver shortage. Here's state political reporter George Roberts.
The rail debacle's still dominating daily politics.
Only one job they're committed to keeping, and that is the Transport Minister's job. Get rid of him.
First we had trains without seats, then trains that couldn't go in tunnels. Now we've got tunnels with no trains.
Thank you, Leader Opposition.
Allowing the opposition the chance to flush out some revelations.
Was it Twitter or Facebook that advised you of the rail crisis? It was through Twitter that I noticed that through the trends like so.
But he blames the former management for keeping the risk of driver shortages secret.
The answers I was given by Queensland Rail proved to be wrong. And what's happened? The CEO, gone. The chair, gone.
His department chief wasn't told either.
No, because with a heart, I would have remembered.
If I had not been misled in the nature of briefs that I have received, I believe absolutely things could have been very different.
Colleagues are protecting the battle-weary minister.
I support him 100%, as I know the entire Cabinet does. Absolutely. Stirling Hinchliffe is working very hard.
While the key Katter Party MPs think city folk could do with some perspective.
Because for 9 days, Telstra services have been out in the Gulf. So for our entire region for 9 days without phone. You imagine if Brisbane was without phones for 9 days.
The man brought in for damage control disagrees with the labels.
And we're using the word crisis, debacle, use the word schmozzle. Actually, the train service is not that bad.
It takes a year to train a driver and 100 more are needed. So when will full services be guaranteed?
I always worry when people use guarantee. I can guarantee I'll be working my socks off to make sure this is all right.
That's a lot of socks. George Roberts, ABC News, Brisbane.
It's simply not good enough. Those are the words the Premier has used once again to describe Queensland Rail. Commuters were left stranded this morning as a raft of problems paralysed the network. It was so bad, passengers are getting their money back. A costly apology after a Thursday morning that was nothing short of a train wreck.
Those customers who have travelled on the Queensland Rail network from first service this morning through to midday will have their fares refunded.
Yet another Queensland Rail train failed.
Passengers from the Gold Coast to Redcliffe faced hour-long delays and cancellations.
I was trying to get to the city, but everything was shut down and I had to get an Uber all the way here.
Yeah, it was really annoying. I was 45 minutes late for work on my first shift at the airport.
I'm advised that it is nothing to do with train drivers. It is track maintenance issues.
It started before sunrise with a welding problem at Yeronga. A train breakdown between Currabee and Trinder Park then compounded the headache before storm damage caused signalling failures at South Brisbane and Dutton Park.
Now these are very rare events for our network.
The Premier is furious commuters weren't told what was happening.
They should have been more forthcoming with their explanation to commuters this morning, and frankly, it's not good enough.
An increasingly common criticism from the Premier. This was her in October.
It's not good enough. It's simply not good enough.
Queensland Rail and Stirling Hinchliffe are taking commuters for mugs, and commuters are paying the price for a government that just can't get it right.
Then there was this bizarre tweet. A laughing emoticon posted around lunchtime on the official Queensland Rail account. It's under investigation.
All the issues that occurred this morning have been fully remediated and the network is performing as we'd expect.
Meaning hopefully a smooth ride home.
Queensland's Crime and Corruption Commission has helped break open some of the state's biggest cases in recent years. Its secretive coercive hearings have forced witnesses to give up vital information, but some critics say the powers are being overused and go too far.
This is one of Queensland's most secretive rooms. Those called to testify in the so-called Star Chamber have no right to silence. If they refuse to cooperate or lie, they can be jailed.
They're a very powerful tool we use, but we take very seriously the use of them, and we have to convince ourselves that there is a proper basis to use the powers.
Evidence from CCC hearings helped convict 2 men over the McCulkin murders, a crime that had been unsolved since the 70s. In the Tiali Palmer case, the CCC trapped her foster family in a lie. Eventually, they gave up the killer, foster father Rick Thorburn. But while there's widespread support for the Star Chamber's use in major investigations, there's also concern the right to silence is being taken away in low-level cases.
There has to be some balance, a balance between police powers, CCC powers on the one hand and civil liberties on the other.
Over a decade, the number of investigative hearings have quadrupled to more than 340 a year. In 2017, Brisbane YouTuber Paul Pluta leaked top-secret documents detailing problems with Queensland Rail timetables and trains.
Newgen is a huge up.
It's understood he was summoned to the Star Chamber and forced to reveal his source. He's since been charged with allegedly revealing he was called to face a hearing.
It'd be different if you were talking about a terrorist incident, but this was talking about problems within Queensland Rail that needed in the public interest to be disclosed.
People who have access to confidential information are under an obligation of trust not to disclose that without very good reason. If there's, for instance, a belief that they want to blow the whistle, as it were, they should come to us confidentially.
The CCC doesn't release transcripts or recordings of its coercive hearings. In many cases, even telling someone you've been summoned to testify can be an offence. Civil libertarians want the powers reined in, but the CCC insists it's kept in check by the courts and a parliamentary oversight committee. Christian Silva, ABC News.